Hello, everybody out there, and welcome to another episode of the Talk That Talk Show with me, Barry Holmes. Yo, guys, we are at the 99th episode. It's so close, I can taste it. We're so close to that 100th episode, but, to get to 100, we got to get through 99 first. So, big shout out to Al on our Instagram live stream. Shout out to Mark on our Instagram live stream, Ryan Mackey, Robert Brantley Jr. on the Facebook live stream, Ashley G. Like I said, each and every week, I never take for granted just how much support is given to me on these episodes, and then also just how important it is to continue to come out each and every week and give you all the show that you have been looking for all week. I think that when I first started out this podcasting thing, they talked about just how important it was to continue to have a steady schedule and try and create consistency. And the crazy thing about it was, in my life, I had so much inconsistency where I'd be covering games late night. I was working 3 jobs at the time, and I just really didn't have the chance to prioritize things to basically make this podcast the number one priority. And then once I was, lost my job, and, a little bit even before that, I just really started to take this shit, like, really seriously. And, I just wanted to take over a time that, you usually spend with all your friends, and, just create an atmosphere. You have some place where everybody can go on a Friday night. And literally, since I made that switch to where we came on primetime Friday, 8:30, we've seen that, the numbers have surged, but, in a way, it also not only took the dedication to come out and continuously do this every single Friday night, but it also took the confidence to say, hey, I am going to do this on a Friday night, and I am going to sacrifice my time for where maybe I would like to go out and have some fun and, go different places. But, I have told myself that I had an obligation to do this show, and not only an obligation, but it's a responsibility now. And, just to see the sheer numbers to say that we have, over 12,000 downloads now, and, we've done 99 episodes. I have my one friend tell me that, and I've said this to you guys on podcast episodes before, but, the number one reason why these podcasts do fail is because, of lack of consistency and lack of episodes. Most don't even make it to 14. So, the fact that I've been able to have 99 episodes and have people continuously want to tune in, there's no more motivation that I need. So, even to have these shirts, man, I was so happy to give, some of the people their OG 10s, in advance. And, like I said, just having that feeling of seeing something all the way through and being able to see something into fruition, it just makes all the difference, because at the end of the day, I would be nothing without, the people that choose to support this show. And, I wouldn't have such successful merch or have people that actually want to wear it proudly. I got so many text messages and just pictures over the past couple days of just people just in regular shit, doing regular shit at the gym. my boy Theo was rocking his hoodie, and, I had asked this question to my friend, but it was like, what do you think that this Talk That Talk show is? And, honestly, the answer is beyond just a podcast. This is truly a lifestyle, man. I think that, when you listen to this podcast or you listen to anything that has to deal with Talk That Talk show, I think the main thing that is to note, and the one thing that you're going to get is 100%, just straight transparency as far as how I feel, what I feel is important in the society around me. And then also for you all that's listening in, just how important it is to keep your ears and eyes open and receptive to information that you might not even know, because, at the end of the day, we're constantly learning, and we're constantly, as people, growing and trying to find out the things that are our core values. So, to be able to share this space with me and learn more about yourself and about me through this podcast and enjoy some fun on a Friday night, I'm the luckiest guy in the world. So, again, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for my sponsors. Big shout out to VW Liquors, located in Wick Plaza, Edison, New Jersey. My boy Dave Ratty is celebrating a birthday. Big shout out to him, the GOAT. Love you, man. Also want to give a shout out to Air We Are. 13 and a half clothing company. My boy Say over at Skydive Socks. Timmy Hugel, who, like I said, helped me to make these incredibly dope OG10s over at Ink Parlor. And then finally, a big shout out to Joe Snow and Maria over at New York Life, helping people to get their financial freedom every single day. Want to give a shout out to Mark, who I said is on our Instagram live stream, Raffle, DJ Franchise, Amy, Jose, Marcus, Ishabad Crane, Uncle Mickey on our Facebook live stream, Janaea Smith, Justin McPhail, Brian Spawn, Maggie Burns. You guys know the vibes, man. We actually have a raffle that's going to be happening today for one of the actual exclusive Talk That Talk Show lighters with my signature phrase on the back. You know the vibes. So we're going to be doing this at the end of the show. Like I said, I'm constantly trying to find different things that you guys want and things that keep making this show dope. So continue to tune in with me, and we're going to have some more fun like that. So, starting it off with this show, I definitely wanted to highlight the fact that we have baseball coming back. And, I'm super excited about that. And I was really excited to go and watch a 7 o'clock night game against, was it Jacob deGrom against, the Nationals. And, Max Scherzer on the mound. That was surely going to be an impressive matchup, especially with Jacob deGrom being the way he is. But as we can see that the series did get canceled due to COVID. I believe that the count was at 4 players from the Nationals had tested positive for COVID. But, at the end of the day, we've seen things in the success that the NBA has had. But, I think that this hiccup, let's say, for the Mets and for the MLB to be able to cancel the series, I think this is going to play into an underlying issue as far as how the Major League Baseball Association is going to be able to handle these outbreaks, or what is going to be their precautionary methods to see if they can stop, COVID breaks and getting these teams from having COVID. And I feel like it's going to be much harder to do that and to contain these outbreaks because baseball is such a clubhouse sport. You have multiple, I think it's like 40, 50 guys on a team, and you guys are all sharing that clubhouse. And just from what I've seen in basic supermarket encounters of, employees not wearing their masks, I can surely believe that these clubhouse guys aren't exactly following the protocols as well, too. So it just really is important to see with just the amount of active participant that baseball teams have, just how are we going to try and quell this, man? And I think that the big thing that, we're going to have to look to see is, how the MLB is going to handle these cases moving forward. Are you going to continue to cancel all series? Because at the end of the day, we've seen that the NBA has had certain cases with, COVID, but they've canceled maybe a game, but not exactly a full series. And especially with baseball, where there's, series events where, you playing, teams 3 or 4 times in 1 week. It could be problematic as far as not just playing those games, but then trying to reschedule those series. And we already saw that, the players and, MLB had such problems with trying to come to an agreement as far as games played, compensation, COVID pay. So, I think that, the MLB is probably the most volatile of all of these different leagues. And it's just going to be so important to see how things are taken into account. And I think, honestly, not even to make a joke about it, but I really think that the MLB should hit up Adam Silver and say, hey, you NBA, you guys have been killing it, from the bubble to now going out of the bubble and limiting cases. What can you guys suggest to us to help the MLB to not get these cases to where we're not going to have to cancel series? I can understand canceling games, but it's going to be really hard to see how, the MLB is going to be able to move forward because, I guarantee you this Mets Nationals series is not going to be the first of series that we're going to have that are going to be canceled. But I definitely want to get into something that I truly do believe should be canceled. And if you guys weren't privy to what happened, I did see something, and it's a little disturbing. I'm not even going to cap. It's pretty disturbing. But, we saw that Lil Nas X, who's previously known for his Old Town Road song. But I don't know that a lot of people know, but, there was a special Air Max 97 shoe that dropped. and the production actually had to be halted on it because of just the outrage and just, and a justified outrage too, just for the production of these shoes. They were so terrible that John Jones went even to say that he was gonna light on fire his entire Nike, display, or everything that he had Nike. He was gonna burn it. And the reason why this happened, guys, is because Lil Nas X he went out, he came out with these shoes through a off-brand through Brooklyn, and kind of made his own versions of Air Max 97 called the Demon Shoe. And it's really crazy because the shoe itself has like a Bible verse on there talking about how the devil came down like lightning from the heavens, and there's 666 versions. 666 pieces of this shoe. And I think the most damning part about this is just the fact that, Lil Nas X, who potentially, used this, little idea of, Satanism and, lap dancing a devil and snapping his necks and taking his horns. That shit is crazy, guys. And the fact of the matter is that, like Ishabad Crane said, Nike did not give the clearance for these shoes. But, what the most crazy thing about it, Ish, and I think that a lot of people have to understand, is just how blatant that Satanism is in this society, man. And it's pretty crazy to think that, people would spend $8,000 for a shoe that has a pentagram on the tongue and actual blood from people in the sole of the shoes. Like I said, I'm not out here to tell people, what they should and should not believe in, but I'm just telling you the power of influence and just how one thing can be misconstrued and taken to another light. It's very trippy, like my boy Justin McPhail says. And the crazy thing is here you have people that are defending Lil Nas X and saying, well, hey, if you've been ostracized by a certain religion for so long and you've been told that, you are devilish for being gay, nobody's out here to, discredit Lil Nas X, and nobody's saying that, hey, it's not okay to be gay. But there's some people a part of that Christian religion that do believe that. And I think that what Lil Nas X is trying to do is, through these music videos of pure Satanism, he's trying to shed to light the fact that, there's certain religions out there that are ostracizing the gay people out there, and in essence isn't allowing him to be himself or to live freely. But I think that couldn't be so far from the case, because at the end of the day, there may be those certain people that believe those certain things, but you can't make and highlight those people to represent an entire whole. So to be able to come at the whole Christianity just based off of the few negative interactions you may have had, look at what the product we have is. We have these demon shoes where now you're making it to mainstream culture that, we can basically monetize Satanism, man. And it's really disgusting, man. And it's very dark to think that we live in a society where, even though Nike didn't okay it, that, a whole collective would have went on board to make these shoes, man. And, I think that it's something that it's a very slippery slope. And, like I said, now you have a Lil Nas X where, people like, Justin McPhail says, he's antagonizing on thin air and he's riding this thin line. But it's becoming more and more thin by the day, Justin, because now you have, I didn't even know it, but there's a church of Satan, and they're saying that he's becoming the face of it. And, it's really disgusting to how, those influencers, those little things that you can say can be misconstrued. And now as Lil Nas X, you're the face of Satanism. And that's, I don't know if that was his intended value or if that's what he was going for. But honestly, that shit is scary to see on this side, guys. So, I just bring this to your attention to say that, whatever you believe in and whatever your belief systems are, just make sure that you don't succumb those things for the wrong values, man. And even if you're trying to make a point, please be very direct in the things that you're saying, and try and find a way to not only say the way that you feel, but truly say the way that you feel, that it can't be misconstrued, because at the end of the day, you could wind up the face of something that truly you might not even believe in, man. We have Ishabad Crane who says that was real young Tyler Creator vibes. Yeah, definitely. You see that Tyler went from talking about a lot of crazy shit in his early raps, but, sometimes it takes a little waking up to get you to really find some substance. So, I thought that was something that was really crazy to think about, but, it's really something that you have to bring to light, man. stepping away from those terrible shoes, I got to talk about a terrible champion, right? And we got to talk about this UFC that we just had, and Francis Ngannou becoming the heavyweight champion. I mean, guys, a lot of parlays were messed up because we all saw Stipe Miocic as that underdog. We was like, yo, how could he not lose? He's the champ. But I think that when we saw, that, what's his name, Francis Ngannou just did quick takedown defense, I just thought that was a killer for, the confidence of Stipe, because a lot of people thought that Stipe was going to hold that advantage by taking the fight to the ground and be able to get some sort of ground and pound. But, once Francis stuffed that, it was done deal. And all it takes is one of those hands from, Ngannou to hit you. And now we're potentially talking about Stipe retiring. Do I think that Stipe should retire? I mean, I'm not sure. But when you have a situation, when you get knocked out like that, it can really get your eyes and ears open and thinking, oh, damn, maybe the beach don't sound too bad. I don't want to get the smelling salt out again. So, I think that Stipe definitely has to take the necessary time. Like he said, Justin McPhail said this might be a one and done. They did have they did have a fight before where Stipe won the first match, but honestly, like Ngannou said, I truly don't think that this should go to a trilogy fight because, like I said, when Ngannou stopped that takedown initially, and we saw that Stipe was just catching these punches, it just looked like an inevitable train that was about to get derailed, man. And now they think about it as far as, what is Ngannou's next step? Because it's like, who really in their conscious mind wants to step in the ring with that guy Francis? He looks absolutely insane. I mean, especially coming in at, 265? That dude is nuts, man. So, I think that, the logical explanation to who he should fight next obviously has to be a John Jones. We know it's going to take a big money fight because, and to John Jones' defense, he deserves the money. The guy's defended himself 14 times. He's been a champ all these years. He's defeated these top names. He was saying before that he was fighting these guys for $2 million a fight. If you feel that John Jones should not get more than, $9-10 million for this fight, which is a supposed super fight, they're supposed to create the change of history in the heavyweight division, you got to pay the man. There's so many times where, the UFC gets over on trying to, underpay these fighters, and we've seen multiple times that this seems to be the issue with, getting fights and getting them scheduled. So I think that upon the money situation, we could potentially see a Derrick Lewis fight again. And do you guys really want to see a Derrick Lewis Ngannou too? Because, I mean, obviously they were saying this was probably one of the most boring fights of all time. The guys standing there and they didn't want to exchange. They were both scared of each other's power. And I think that could be another stalemate if we get that fight. So, I think if I'm Dana White, you're already saying you're going to put $100 million on this guy, Jake Paul, to lose. So if you have that money to bet on a guy to lose who's not even a real fighter, why not pay your fighter the money to actually make the event happen for everybody out here that wants to see John Jones versus Ngannou? Because I'm telling you, that could change the landscape of the UFC for sure. Big shout out to my boy Kevin Rosa, who's loving the pink long sleeve. I see you, my boy. But, real quick, I definitely wanted to give also another big time shout out to my boy Eric Nolan. He appeared on, I think, episode 90, Ringside. He came with Kevin Barry, and he's actually fighting on UFC, Cage Fury 95, which is going to be on the UFC Fight Pass. Eric Nighttime Nolan, he's such a cool dude, man, and, coming in as a fighter from Edison, 4-0 undefeated already. I think that this is going to be something that's definitely on my radar. I'm going to see if I can try and catch a little bit of his fight, but you always got to support your hometown guys, especially a guy that came here on this show. So, to see him potentially fighting on, UFC Fight Pass tonight, on a pay-per-view event, fighting the guy in Cage Fury 95, he's part of history now. So, I think this is big time for Eric Nighttime Nolan, and, I wish him all the best. But I think another big thing that we have that's kind of arisen over these past couple of days is that everybody's talking about this new movie, Godzilla vs. Kong, right? Jeffrey, he was saying, I gotta watch this movie because everybody across all social media is spoiling the outcome. I want to know what's going to happen. And I'm somebody that has not watched the movie yet, but you know me, I'm always thinking bigger picture, right? And I think that one of the things that I saw that was so eye-opening to this, release of Kong versus Zilla is that, this is happening pretty much through HBO Max. And I just remember the times, like I said, where you would see on TV all these different, commercials and trailers for certain events, certain movies. And I just really can't really say that I've seen the same amount of, advertisement on the television or, box office appeal, I guess you could say. And is it going to be a movie that I'm going to watch? I'll definitely watch it. But I think that this kind of speaks to the bigger layer of, just how big these movies are now being released as a home version, as opposed to, the highlighted in the how could I say, the way that it was supposed to be watched in a movie theater, right? And, I think personally that, we're going to have to see this moving forward as to far as, are these movies going to have the big success with releasing through home releases, whether it be through Showtime or HBO Max or Stars Plus, whatever your streaming platform is? Are we going to see movies that are going to try and tailor their releases more towards home releases? And, as we see the pandemic, as we try to move out of the pandemic, we're seeing that movie theaters are starting to open back up. But it's not at like the full capacity or, the main, way that we watch movies where everybody's still gripped to their seats watching a Star Wars and everybody ooh and ah at the same time in surprise, right? It really brings up this question as far as you're a movie producers and, where you're looking to produce this, whether, you're willing to bet on whether people want the experience of having that home theater experience, or whether you're going to play towards the people that are catered to the convenience of watching these movies. And I think it's going to be interesting to watch because, I looked the other day and I saw, all the amount of movies that were on Disney Plus. And it's like, when you have all these big time movies that you can watch through there, what's going to make you inclined to go to the movie theaters more often when you could just go through your streaming platform and watch it, right? So, I think that this is going to be something that we're really going to have to take a look towards. I definitely want to watch Kong versus Godzilla. I think it's going to be great. I hope King Kong wins. I'm not going to cap. Godzilla, he's this, this crazy figure, but King Kong seems a little bit more believable. I know it sounds crazy, King Kong believable, but, I think I got my money on King Kong. Anybody that watched it, don't spoil it. But, moving out of the fictitious categorization and part of this show, we got to talk about what's actually real, right? And one of the things that I know Jeff's going to be super hyped that I'm talking about here is the Brooklyn Nets. Each and every day you see they're adding new all-star or veteran guy that everybody's like, wow, how did they go to Brooklyn? And now we have LaMarcus Aldridge, who found himself on the Brooklyn Nets. And, does this ensure that the Nets are going to be an NBA Finals team? I think they're going to be an NBA Finals team regardless of whether they had LaMarcus Aldridge. It's just a matter of what can he provide to this team that they don't already have. And what we've seen Jeff Green, who's really outplayed his role. In a good way. I'm saying he's really played, up. He looked like a 22-year-old against the Knicks, man. He was killing us. But again, we're trying to look as far as what they have. And Jeff Green provided that. You have other players like the DeAndre Jordan who provides that dunk. He can give you the alley-oop dunks and stuff. But what LaMarcus Aldridge does is he enables you to bring that defender into the paint, and he can give you that face-up game, or he can bring the defender out of the paint and provide that face-up game where he can hit you with the jumper, or he has the abilities to hit you, blow pass, and pull up for a jump shot. His mid-range game has been legendary, and I tell you what, is LaMarcus Aldridge the best defender? I can't say that, but what I will say is this: people like Joe Harris, the shooters like a Tyler Johnson, they're going to feast on being able to play out there with LaMarcus Aldridge, because what he does is he allows, this is a pause here, he allows the defense to get sucked in, and when that defense gets sucked in, all the perimeter shooters have wide open shots here. So, I really, if LaMarcus Aldridge can just be an interior presence, just be a threat to potentially score and give you buckets repeatedly, I think it's going to open up the offense even more, not just for those starters, but for that second unit, because I know personally from my New York Knicks team, a lot of times when that lead goes out, it's the fact that, the second team will come in, they'll lose that lead, and now everything that you've built, you got to try and get back with that starting team that was trying to get their breath back. So LaMarcus Aldridge really adds to the second unit. And if he can, like I said, be that interior presence and give you about 15, 20 solid minutes, I definitely think that this is going to make Brooklyn even more scarier for a Laker team that could potentially not have Anthony Davis. And you have LeBron James, who has that ankle injury. I'll tell you right now, ankle injuries are the worst thing in the world, and they linger. So, I just want to see if LeBron can get healthy, if Anthony Davis can come back, because they are going to have their hands full, not only just making it out of the Western Conference, but trying to take on that beast in whether it be the Philadelphia 76ers or Brooklyn. So, we're just going to have to see what happens, man. But, like I said, in all, there's a lot to be excited about coming into this 100th episode. And, one of the things that I look forward to every time on this show is this beer review. And, the beer that I wanted to choose this, today, it was a beer that, I wanted to pick something, like I said, in past episodes, I've picked, New Jersey beers, and, I've been a huge fan of the brewery, Cypress Brewing and Bolero Snort. But, I definitely wanted to make accessible this beer review for, somebody out there that may not have those same opportunities, because, like I said, a large number of the people that listen to this show don't even reside here in Jersey. So, to be able to give you guys a beer that maybe you can go out to your store and try, it meant something to me. And the reason why I kind of actually also went to trying this beer is because when I went to the bowling alley, they actually had a special for the beer, and it's $5 mugs of Blue Moon, right? And, Blue Moon, I do like Blue Moon, but I think one of the things that, prevents me or maybe stops me from drinking Blue Moon a little bit more than usually that I do is the fact that I feel like I can't drink a lot of them. I feel like, I get very full from drinking a Blue Moon, and, sometimes that taste will, get a lot of me, right? So when I saw this Light Sky Citrus Wheat Blue Moon, I was very intrigued, because one of the things that they say is brewed with a tangerine peel. It has 3.6 carbs, and it only is 95 calories. Guys, I have made a living on the pandemic, pretty much acquiring this beer belly, I guess you could say. So, if I do want to have a beer, I definitely want to try and have something that not only tastes good, but sometimes might be a little bit lighter on the side as well, too. So, like I said, this Light Sky Citrus Wheat Blue Moon is definitely a beer that I want to try out here, and I think it's going to be very interesting. Shout out to Alex Balonis that's here on the Facebook live stream. Have you tried this one before? The Light Sky Blue Moon Citrus Wheat? Already off the rip, when you pour this beer, a lot of times, Blue Moon has like a darker type look to it. And, you'll be able to see, from the foam on the top, just how thick of a beer it is. But, from first pouring this, when have you ever seen a Blue Moon look like this? When? So to be able to see this Blue Moon look completely clear, that I can almost look through it, it's very different. So, I'm going to try this beer out, guys. It's the Light Sky Citrus Wheat by Blue Moon, brewed with a tangerine peel. Guys, let's see how it is, and let's see if I'll tell you whether you should drink it again, all right?
Blue Moon.
I tell you what, man, it almost doesn't even taste like a Blue Moon, and that's what I think that's very surprising about this, man. I think if I had to give it a comparable taste, I would almost compare it to like a lemon water or something, almost like like one of those seltzer spritzers, man. I don't know how I feel about it. I gotta try this one more time. Here we go.
The light sky of blue moon.
Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna have to get some more research on this, man. I tell you what, because it's very interesting. Like, when I first think of Blue Moon, I just can't, fathom just such a light beer, man. And it tastes interesting. I'm not gonna say it tastes awesome or great, but there's just something interesting to this that that I just haven't tasted before. I feel like I think Say said it's weak. I wouldn't say that it's weak, but it just doesn't taste like a. It doesn't give me that beer. Like, I feel like I'm not tasting a beer. I mean, this tastes like a seltzer to me. But if I had to give it a 1 to 10, I mean, I think I'd give it a solid 6, man. I gotta give it a solid 6. I think that this probably would be most suited for if you want to go to the beach. If you're trying to have this, in your cooler or something like, hey, let's drink something that I'm not gonna get, so full off of. I think that this is where this is suited for. So, like I said, I'll probably give this a 6 out of 10. Save this for the beach, all right? I think this would be definitely more suited for a summertime beer. But, like I said, Light Sky. And even though this wasn't exactly my favorite beer, I'll say this. You gotta want to try different things, all right? Like, you're never going to know if you truly like something if you don't try it out. So, I'm just glad that I had the opportunity to try it out here. It's probably would be maybe one of our lowest rated beers, but this is my opinion. Maybe try your own opinion, try it out yourself. But I think that, like I said, for where we're at now, I would probably save this more for like a beach beer, and I probably have maybe 1 or 2 of them. And I think maybe next week, let's see if we can try and get a different beer on here, and hopefully I can give you guys a higher rated beer. But this is the process with me. I'm not gonna bullshit you. If I love the beer, I'll tell you. But excuse me, I wouldn't say I'm in love with this beer, man. But real quick, we definitely, before I end this show, I gotta get into the lighter raffle. I want to thank everyone that participated here in this raffle this week. Like I said, this raffle is gonna be for one of these Talk That Talk Show lighters, with the key phrase that says, the vibes, guys. I say that all the time, man. But I tell you what, like I said, it's so important to, again, see things into fruition, man. And to be able to say that I'm doing yet another raffle before the 100th episode, man, like I said, it means all the world. So, real quick, we're going to get into this raffle. I want to, once again, thank you guys. And let's get into it and see, can Brienne Pearson win back-to-back raffles? Who knows? The vibe. Let's get it in. Let's see. Oh, this wheel's spinning fast, and the winner is Tim eBay. Wow. Big shout out to my boy Tim eBay. He just won himself a Talk That Talk Show lighter. Maybe he'll be able to pick it up next week. But, I want to give him a big shout out. He actually was on our episode earlier. You're definitely going to want to check out his episode. I think that, it's so dope to have people that have been on the show to not only win, but to just constantly being active a part of the process. I feel like it could be so easy for once you've been on the show to be like, oh man, that was dope, and then, you're just done with it. But, the fact that people have been on the show and actively participate and continue to try and, talk in the stream and show up to these, every Friday means the world to me, man. So like I said, I want to give a big shout out to Tim eBay, who won our Talk That Talk Show. The vibes lighter. I mean, come on, bro. I think that it's going to be awesome. I just, from getting to the end of the show and completing everything, it's almost like finalizing to me that, this is the last episode before the 100th episode, man. And I think that, one thing that correlates so well with it is the fact that, me and my brother, we're going to be competing in a tournament tomorrow at Majestic Lanes. And I'm just so excited because, I feel like all week I've had a certain amount of practice. I've practiced at different bowling alleys. Most of the time shot over 600. But, constantly with these tournaments, I'm constantly trying to find ways to challenge myself and see just where I am as a bowler. And I think that, one of the things that I've really tried to do, leading up to this, upcoming tournament tomorrow is just visualizing the success that I want. And then on top of that, just trying to stay and remain confident in my talent. I think that a lot of times, we do get into situations where we second guess ourselves based off of certain outcomes that happen. But, from losing certain games this week, from not placing in certain tournaments, going into this new tournament tomorrow, it's really an idea of, what did I really learn from the previous experiences that I had bowling? What have I learned over this past week that can help me into Saturday? And, one of the things that, I think I strive to do as a bowler is, continue to make all my spares, give myself a chance, stay around the pocket, stay aggressive, and most importantly, especially since I'll be doing a doubles event with my brother, it's just being a great teammate, man. I think that it's very undervalued just how important it is to be a good teammate, and that means that if you're not bowling great, not bringing down the energy so that your teammate can't do well too. So these are all things again that you learn throughout the course of a bowling season and when you're competing for money when you're bowling. So in the same regard as podcasting, I feel like I'm constantly learning with each episode and constantly trying to progress and advance and show you all who I am, but in fun ways and give you guys more topics that give you insight on who I am and how I feel and just what kind of society we live in around us, man. I think that it's very important. And, as you continue to go through it, and whether it be through sports, whether it be through life, and for me through this podcast, it's just so important to stay true to your core values and just work hard. I think that to come here to 99 episodes, people think it's just so easy to get here on the mic and, pour out your soul. But I think that, it takes, a certain level of vulnerability and then also, confidence to come here and show you guys I'm not afraid to show you who I am. And just the fact that you guys are vulnerable enough to lend your ear to listen to me too. It makes all the sense. It makes all the love in the world, man. And, I truly remain humbled each and every week to have people like you that want to watch this show, man. And, you have Ishabai Crane who says, Tyree, a great teammate in bowling and Rainbow Six Siege. Yo, it's very, that's huge, Ish. And I think that, teammates, whether, you're on the court, off the court, on the lanes, off the lanes, it extends beyond the game. So, if there's anything that I can tell you all out there from, just talking bowling or just the importance of what my core values lie, I just think that, it's just so important to be a great teammate. And, that's something that isn't just, comes to anybody. It's something that you got to learn. And, like Stephen Baum said, thank you for bowling yesterday. I had so much fun bowling with you, Steve. And I think that, being also a good teammate is being able to give that feedback when you might not want to hear it. Him and Walter at one point was telling me, yo, don't be afraid to throw the ball, man. Throw that shit, and sometimes that's all you need to hear. So, if you're a teammate, just be there for the person that you're bowling with or, competing with as a team. And then, and don't be afraid to give that feedback or to give that hard information because at the end of the day, you guys are on the same team, which means you should want the same outcome, right? So, be a good teammate and just work hard, man. That's what this show is all about, man. And you guys are all my teammates, each and every one of you who chooses to tune in on your Friday night and spend a little time with me. So once again, thank you so much for tuning into the 99th episode.
Nice.
Last time you guys will see me in the double digits, and next week we'll be in the triple digits in episodes, man. I think we're gonna, I've mentioned it previous times before. I don't want to speak too much about it, for those people that are just tuned in newly. I saw somebody was tuning in last episode from Sheboygan, Wisconsin. So big shout out to you all out there. Hopefully you tuned in for another episode. But next episode is going to be a really dope one. I'm going to have it not here in this home studio that I've known to say, but I'm going to be having it in one of my favorite bowling alleys. We're going to have a nice little, small little party that hopefully you all will be able to see a little bit of on the live. I got a couple guests from previous episodes that's going to be coming on the show to show what they've been doing since their last appearances on the show. So if you're a fan of guests, be ready to have at least 5 or 6 guests on next week's show, man. It's going to be monumental. It's going to be huge. We got some people flying in from different states to be a part of this. So, guys, I'm forever humbled at the amount of support that you all give me, and just the fact that you all believe in me, man.
Where have you been, Z?
Sometimes it gives me a loss of words, or sometimes I get emotional about it, because I just remember and I just know so many people out there that have tried to podcast and that have tried to do certain things and just haven't had that success and haven't seen it all the way through. And to say that I continuously find a reason and to stay motivated to come out here each and every week, when some weeks we don't have the amount of viewership that we may want. But we don't do it for the people that don't listen in, right? I always was told, you want to look at a glass, half full as opposed to half empty. So, whether it's one person, 2 people on here, whether there's no people on here, I've dedicated myself to this podcast, and I'm going to see this through. And the 100th episode does not mark the end of this episode. It's merely just a celebrating point. And like I said, there's so much more that we have on this horizon. And just stick with me, because I promise you, I ain't done yet, all right? This is the Talk That Talk Show.
Talk that talk.
99th episode in the books. And next time you see me, I'll be a 100 episode podcaster. So thank you so much, guys. I love you all, and I will see you next week.